Unit 5, Day 3. Okay. So, in the first three questions, they give us fractions, and they want us to give the decimal and the percent. So, 2/5, 2 1/4, and 1/7. All right. Now, this is the more difficult one. Remember, we have to divide. The 2 goes on the inside, so the top number always goes on the inside, and the bottom number on the outside. All right. Because I want to get this to the percent, I am going to put a decimal point and my 2 zeros, which will be my hundredths place. So get me to the hundredths place. Let's see, tenths and hundredths. All right, so 5 can go into 24 times. Drop down my 0. 5 can go into 0 times. So my decimal is 0.40 or just 0.4, and my percent is 40%, because remember I did it out to the hundredths place, so I know my percent. So you can either, in the next one, know that that 2 is going to be first in your decimal and first in your percent, or you can make it improper and do it. I'm going to just know where my 2 goes and then just divide out my fraction. So I want 2 places. 4 goes into 10 2 times. That's going to be 8 with a remainder of 2. Drop down my 0. 4 goes into 25 times, so my decimal value is 25. And it's going to make 2.25 as my decimal, and then 225%. All right, let's do the last one. So the 1's on the inside, 7's on the outside. I need 2 places, a tenths place and a hundredths place, to find the percent. 7 goes into 10 1 time, remainder of 3, bring down the 0. 7 goes into 34 times, that's going to be 28 with a remainder of 2. I can keep dropping down zeros, but I already found my percent. So 0.4%, I'm just going to put a little, that means it's closely that. That's approximate. All right, and then 14%. All right. Let's go on to question 4. All right, so 12, I'm going to write that as a decimal, so 0.12 of means multiplication. What number is my unknown? Is equal, and then 20. Okay, so the 0.12 is multiplying the x. So to get rid of it, I have to divide it. So these are going to cancel. I'm just going to be left with my unknown. To divide these, the 20 goes on the inside and the 0.12 goes on the outside. I can't divide a decimal in, so I'm going to have to move the place value so that it's a whole number. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other, so if I move this 1 2 places, it becomes 2,000. All right, so 12 goes into 20 1 time, the remainder of 8. Drop down the 0. 12 goes into 8, I think 7 times. Let me think real quick. No, it's 6 times. So that's going to be 12, 6, 7. Going to give me a remainder of 8 again. So I already know the next one is going to be 6. And I could keep going, but I think it's going to be a repeater 6 for a very long time. So I'm just going to put my 0.6 and stop. So the answer is 166.6. You can put the repeater bar on top, and that is my what number. And that makes sense because we always start out with a bigger number in percentages. If I multiply a percent to a big number, I'm going to get a smaller number. So that all makes sense. All right, number 5. Okay, number 5. We have 30% of what number is 96? Okay, so 30% I'm going to write it as a fraction this time, times what number, that's my unknown, is my equals in 96. So I'm going to go ahead and reduce this down to 3 over 10. All right, so the 3 over 10 is being multiplied to the n. So to undo it, I must divide it. To divide fractions, that's just going to cancel out. To divide fractions, I have to turn it to multiplication and flip. Okay, so this is my problem on the other side. I can cross cancel these. 3 goes into 9 3 times, 3 goes into 6 2 times. So now I don't have anything on the bottom because they're both ones. And if I take 32 times 10, I'm going to get 320. So n is 320. Again, we want to get a bigger number because anytime I multiply a percent to a big number, I get a smaller number. So I need a bigger number than 96. That is, unless it's a percent of increase, it's a bigger percentage, okay? But this next one is actually a tiny, tiny percentage. This is number 6. All right, so if I make this a decimal this time, I got to move that decimal place 2 places, and it's going to be a teeny tiny number. It's going to be 0.0075. Of is multiplied, n is 10. So this is just a teeny tiny little percentage. So try to make a guess real quick what you think, estimate what you think the answer is going to be, and we'll see if we get the right answer. Okay, so this is being multiplied to the n, so to undo it I have to divide. All right, I cannot divide decimals. I need to change the place value. So this one's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need to add 4 zeros to this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now the top one goes inside and the bottom one on the outside. And it's just the 75 now. 75 goes into 101 time with a remainder of 25 dropped down to 0. That is going to go in there, I believe, 1, 2, 3 times. Let's try 3. So 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 7 is 21, 22. All right, drop down another 0, and I'm going to say that's going to be 3 times as well, which is going to give me 25 again, and it's just going to keep repeating the 3. Okay, so my answer is going to be 1,333.3. All right, in this case, this is a lot bigger than 10, and because that percentage is so itty bitty 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 tiny, I mean, it's not even 1%. This number needs to be really small in comparatively to the original number, okay? Which it is. All right, in a survey of 175 students, 42 said that their favorite pet was a dog. Give the percent. So of 175 students, what percent said that they want like a dog? Well, that's 42. Okay, that percent has to be of 175 because 42 is of 175. So that percent has to be of that. Okay, so it's 175 times n equals 42. Or you could say 175 n equals 42. Now, you'll know if you did something wrong because your number won't come out as it should. If it's a percent, we need to have a small number, less than 1, because percents, fractions, and decimals are all less than 1, unless they're mixed numbers or more than 1 whole percent, or they have a whole number tied to the decimal, but that isn't like that in this case, because my ending result is less than my beginning result. All right, so I divide on both sides because it's being multiplied to n. Got to put my decimal in. Since I need a percent, I'm going to put in 2 zeros because remember I need to know what out to the hundreds place. Excuse me. All right, so 175 is going to go into 420. I'm going to guess about 2 times. So let's see if I'm right. 14, 15, 2, 3. All right, that's about 70 left over. So, well, it's exactly 70 left over. So that's right. All right, I'm going to drop down my 0. So 175 can go into this about, I'm going to say 3 times. It might be 4, though. Let's see. 21, 22, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, yes, it's 4 times. So let me just do that again. 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is going to be a 20. 4 times that is 28, 32. 4 times that, and that's going to be, oh no, 7. Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I was right the first time, wasn't I? Either that or my math is wrong. Let me do 2 really quick. Let me do it like this. 28, 30. Yeah, I messed up on my math. It is 4, and that's going to give me 700. So I got to turn this decimal into a percent, and it's going to be 24%. Number 8. All right, 23% of the students said that they like to swim as their summer activity. If 112 students like swimming as their activity, how many students were surveyed? Okay, so total amount of students times the percentage equals the part, right? The part that is whatever we're trying to find. And this one, I know the part that likes swimming, okay? And it's the total amount of students that I don't know. So I know 112 like to swim. That's 23% of the total, and I don't know what the total is. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn this into a fraction because I haven't done it as a fraction in a very long time. All right, if 23 over 100 is being multiplied to the end, to get rid of it, I need to divide it, which is just keep, change, flip. Multiply the reciprocal. Okay, so that equals n. Okay, and if I multiply, I got 112,000 over 23. So now I need to multiply this out. Now, if you do the fraction method for this, it's going to give you the percent automatically. Okay, so that's going to be 4 times 8, 9, 8, 20. I'm going to say 8 times, so that's 24, 16, 17, 18. That is going to give me 6 to 90, 16. Drop down the last 0. Let me write it up here. That was the last 0. Okay, so 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm just going to say 6. We'll see if I'm right. 12, 13. Just barely could get another one in there. So I'm going to put my decimal in and add a 0. And I'm going to say 4489. Usually when it just barely, then it's a 9 next. 18, 19, 20. All right, so that's going to give me 13. I could keep going, but I'm going to stop there. I didn't tell you what around, so wherever you decide is okay. So can I have 0.9 of a student? And the answer is that I can't. When we're working with percents, a lot of times we get some weird numbers. So I would either say there's a case that could be made for saying I can't have partial students, so it's just the whole number, and there's a case that could be said that I rounded up. And actually, that's one of those discussions of math, which is the proper way. And depending on what discipline you are versus, am I talking I'm in the science discipline versus the mathematical discipline versus the statistician discipline, the rule's different on whether or not I would round that or not. So either answer is correct. I don't want to get you thinking that it's a hard and fast thing and then you thinking that I lied to you later because you learned that it really just depends on what discipline of math you're working in, what the rules are on that. But I do know I can't have point of a student because that makes no sense. Can't have point of a person or a part of a person. Okay, so number 9, if 29% of the turtle eggs hatch on average and a nest of turtle eggs, 15 eggs hatched, how many turtle eggs were in the nest? So total times percent equals the part, or original times percent equals the part, or whole times the percent equals the part. It's up to you how you want to look at that. So 15, that's the part of the turtle eggs that hatched. That's 29% of the total amount of eggs that there were. So T is unknown. I'm going to turn this into a decimal since last time I did a fraction. This is being multiplied, so I'm going to divide it. All right, I got to move this decimal 2 places, which means I got to move this one 2 places. So 1,500, the 29, okay. So that's almost 30. I know I can get 3 30s in there, plus there's going to be an extra 10 if I get 3 30s in there. So that means 2 more. So I'm going to say 5. That's going to be my guess. 5 times 9 is 45. 10, 14. That's pretty close. I'm going to say 1 time. I don't think it can go in twice. And I was right. Okay, I'm going to put my decimal point in and add a 0. I'm going to say 6, 7. I'm going to say 7 times. So that's 63, 14, 20. 7. And I could keep going, but I'm going to stop there because I know that I can't have part of an egg. So the answer would be 51, or we could round it up to 52. I just can't have part of an egg. That makes no rational sense. All right, so that's been day 3. Do your homework. Email me if you have any questions, and I'll see you next class.